Welcome, incredible friends. Today is from the stamp set Mixed Drinks. This is the card we're making. This is the stamp set. It's called Mixed Drinks and it has all kinds of fun ones today. The colors I'm using today are Smoky Slate, Real Red, Basic Black, and Flirty Flamingo. So we've got we're using a soft sky cardstock, a thick Whisper White card base. This is designer series paper from, I think, the Bubbles and Fizz. If you don't have this one, you can use any designer series paper that coordinates. And then I have a couple of scrap pieces here as well that we're going to be using today. And I also have the polka dotted embossing folder, which we're going to be using. And I also have, I went ahead, just for the sake of time, I went ahead and tied my bow. We're using a Bermuda Bay baker's twine. I'm also going to be using a blender pen. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the panel that I'm going to be stamping on. The first one I'm going to use is the outline, and I'm going to ink it up in Basic Black. And then I'm just going to stamp it kind of up towards the top, because I'm going to put my ribbon here, so it doesn't have to be at the top, right about there. Next, the one that looks like ice cream, I say. I'll just mount that on this block, and that's going to be in Basic Black as well. So you just stamp that. Hopefully my head isn't in the way of the camera here, but just stamp that up above. Next, I'm going to take the inside image. This will be what I'm making my milkshake, and I'm going to pretend mine is strawberry. What's your favorite flavor of milkshake, by the way? Let me know in the comments. Just gonna line up my stamp here, and this is where photopolymer is nice because you can kind of see what you're doing. Okay, it's a little darker than I wanted, but that's okay. So I'm gonna ink up my cherry here. I want the stem on top, and you can put this anywhere you want it, but I'm gonna put mine right about there. And I'm gonna also go ahead and stamp the straw. Okay, and my straw, I think I want it right there. Okay, with this cherry, I want my cherry colored in. So I'm gonna take my blender pen, and I've got some ink on the inside of my ink pad here, and I'm just gonna color in this cherry. I want to put some dimension in here so that it doesn't look like my glass is just sitting up on air. So the way to do that is, again, I'm using a blender pen. This is Smoky Slate, and I'm just going to start with a little bit of gray underneath my glass, and I'm just going to kind of go off to the side here. This way it looks like it's sitting on something. On the smaller Whisper White panel, I'm going to take my polka dotted embossing folder, and I'm going to place my piece of paper in the embossing folder. I'm going to grab my Big Shot. So I've got my platform already. I've got my one plate. I've got my folder here with the cardstock in it. I'm going to place my other plate on top, and I'm going to crank it through the Big Shot. Okay, so now you see we have our polka dotted paper. Okay, so I'm going to take first this panel, the stamped panel, and I'm going to center that onto the back of this designer series paper. Then I'm going to place all of this on top of a soft sky layer. Okay. Then I'm going to adhere all of that to the center of this polka dot one. Yeah, I like it right about there. This is like building a layered cake. Lots of layers here, but this is a quick and fun card. I like this one. It's really cute and it reminds me of summer. Then lastly, we'll take and attach it to our card base. Okay. Next, I'm going to take the sentiment from this stamp set, "You're so sweet," and I'm just going to stamp this kind of in the center. Then I'm going to take this punch that. Then I'm going to also punch out a piece in Bermuda Bay. And what I'm going to do with this, run a strip of snail on the back of this, and you can just kind of line it up where you want. I just kind of put my finger behind it so it's not totally stuck yet till I get it where I want, just eyeballing it. And I like that right where it is. So what I forgot on here was that I technically want this under this panel. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of snail on top here. And then I'm just going to slide it under. Then I'm going to take my bow, and I have a little mini glue dot. Attach the glue dot. And this is a double bow too, which is hard to tell with the twine. But sometimes like this one little piece is wants to twist a little bit. I can play with that later. But you can get the bow where you want it, and then I will give it a little bit of a trim so it's not quite so long. The inside, I have a piece of designer paper left over, and I thought it would be fun just to run a strip of this down and place it on the inside of my card. I think that's a little bit better. And then, so on the inside, my inside sentiment, I'm going to stamp in Bermuda Bay, and I want to use the one that says, "Here's to you and your amazingness." And just stamp, get my sentiment inked up, and then just stamp down. All right, there you have it. If you wanted to do your envelope, that would take a few extra moments, but we can do that too. Get up here. Top one. Next I'll find my Harry. This time I'm going to put the cherry right on top. I'm going to go ahead and also do the straw. I hope you enjoyed today's card. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so that you don't miss out on any of the tutorials I offer. And once you've hit subscribed, hit the bell next to it, and that way you'll get notifications of any upcoming videos that I do. You guys have an incredible day. Thanks for joining me.